Some of the scariest moments don't happen in classrooms or hallways. They happen in the places no one's watching. Especially in school bathrooms where the lights flicker, the doors never fully lock. And sometimes you're not alone. It was second period on a Tuesday when the fire alarm went off without warning. Teachers looked confused. No one had mentioned a drill. Most of us assumed it was a mistake, but everyone still followed protocol and headed outside in groups. As the hallway filled with students, I realized I needed to pee. Badly. Instead of going out with the rest, I slipped down a side hall and into the nearest boys' bathroom. The lights inside buzzed faintly. One of the bulbs overhead was flickering on and off. The air smelled like bleach mixed with something damp and old. There were 3 stalls. The first 2 had doors open. The last one was shut. I didn't think much of it. I went to the urinal, finished quickly, and turned to wash my hands. That's when I noticed something that made me stop cold. There were feet under the last stall. Bare feet. Grayish. Dirty. The nails were long, dark, curled slightly. They weren't shifting or tapping or moving at all, just planted there. At first I thought maybe a student was hiding to skip the drill. But the skin didn't look normal. It looked dry, cracked, like old leather left out in the sun. I stared longer than I meant to, waiting for them to move. They didn't. Not even once. I backed away, slowly opened the door just wide enough to slide out without making a sound, and slipped back into the hallway. No one had noticed I was gone. The fire drill was still going, like nothing had happened. Later that day in math class, I mentioned it offhand to a friend. He didn't laugh. He just said, "You know there's a rumor about that bathroom, right? Kids say don't use the last stall. Somebody died in there, like years ago." I rolled my eyes, but the way he said it stuck with me. The next day during lunch, I went back. I don't know what I was expecting. I just wanted to see if the stall was still closed. The bathroom was quiet. No one around. The last stall was shut just like before. I crouched and peeked under. Nothing. No feet. I stood up and pushed the door open slowly. It was empty. No trash, no smell, no scribbles or gum under the seat. It looked too clean, like it hadn't been used in a long time. I stepped back and turned toward the sink. Then I heard it. A slow creak behind me, the sound of a stall door moving. But I had just looked, none of them were moving. I spun around. Nothing there. The stalls were still. No one had come in. Then I glanced at the mirror above the sink, and I saw them, those same feet, walking across the tile behind me, slow and soundless. I turned fast. The room was empty again. No door opened, no footsteps, just silence. But the last stall was shut now, and under it, those feet were back. Not facing the toilet anymore. They were facing me, motionless. It was the day before winter break, when the second-floor girls' bathroom got shut down. A pipe had burst, and they taped the door off with a handwritten sign telling students to use the one near the gym. That bathroom was older than the others, dingy tiles, weak lights, and a long mirror cracked down the center. After fourth period, I went down there alone. The other bathrooms were packed. When I stepped in, it was cold and quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like someone's already watching. One of the stalls was closed, but I didn't look too closely. I used the far one. The lock stuck for a second before clicking in. When I stepped out to wash my hands, I noticed the mirror was slightly fogged. The sink water ran cold, so I didn't know why. I leaned in and wiped a small patch clear with my sleeve. My reflection came into view. For a second, it looked normal. Then something shifted. Behind me in the mirror, there was someone else. A girl. Pale. Hair soaked like she'd been in the rain for too long. She stood just behind the middle stall, staring directly ahead. I turned around fast. Nothing was there, just the same broken tiles and the sound of a drip echoing faintly from the faucet. I checked the stall. The door creaked as I pushed it open. Empty. No footprints, no paper, no smell, just still air and chipped paint. I didn't stay long. I walked out and didn't go back for the rest of the week. By the time we returned from break, the bathroom was closed again for maintenance, supposedly. About a month later, my friend Kayla said she used that bathroom after choir practice. She was redoing her makeup. When she looked up, her reflection didn't move. It just stood there. Same face, same posture until it smiled. She ran out without grabbing her bag. I didn't tell her my story. I didn't want to connect the dots. 2 weeks later, the bathroom door was boarded up. No warning, no notice, just sheets of plywood nailed over the entrance like it was never supposed to be there. Teachers stopped mentioning it. Students stopped asking. The hallway felt longer after that. Now sometimes when I walk past it on the way to gym, I hear a faint sound through the wood. Not voices, just the dull clink of a metal latch shifting open. And something soft hitting tile, slow and rhythmic. Like water. Or wet hair dragging across the floor. It was my sophomore year right before finals. I'd been staying late at school most evenings to study in the library. One night, I lost track of time. By the time I packed up, the sun was gone and the halls were nearly empty. On the way out, I stopped by the science wing bathroom, a small one tucked at the end of a corridor. No windows, 2 stalls, motion lights. As I walked in, the lights buzzed and flickered to life. The room was cold and still. I stepped into the first stall and locked the door. While I was inside, I heard the main door creak open. Soft. No footsteps followed. Just the sound of the door closing gently behind whoever or whatever had come in. I waited a few seconds before flushing. When I stepped out, the bathroom was empty. I checked the second stall. Door wide open. No one inside. Nothing on the floor. Nothing in the mirror. But something felt off. As I washed my hands, I realized what it was. I could hear breathing. Not mine. Faint. Slow. Shaky. It was coming from the ceiling vent above the sinks. A square metal grill set into the wall. I stood still, staring up at it. The fan wasn't running. The sound wasn't mechanical. It was wet. Human. I stepped onto the edge of the sink, careful not to slip, and leaned closer. The breathing got louder. Just as I adjusted my footing, something shifted behind the slats. And then I saw it, an eye, unblinking, locked on mine. No motion, just watching. I jerked backward, nearly falling. The lights above me flickered again, and in that instant, I saw a pale hand, fingers long, wrong, slide back into the darkness behind the vent. I didn't wait. I ran out, dripping water from my hands, not even looking back. The next day, I mentioned it to a janitor. I said there might be something living in the vents. He laughed. Said that section had been sealed off during renovations years ago. No airflow, no access. You probably imagined it, he said. No one ever checked. 2 weeks later, someone found deep scratches in the drywall above the first stall. Thin, jagged lines starting just below the vent, like something had tried pulling its way out. By the end of the day, the marks were painted over. No announcement, no explanation, not even a warning. Now, every time I walk into a school bathroom, I look up before I sit down, and sometimes I hold my breath just to make sure the only one breathing is me. Senior year, a new kid transferred in halfway through the semester. He was quiet, pale, always wore long sleeves even on the hottest days. No one really talked to him. No one even knew his name until that Friday when he went into the downstairs bathroom during lunch and never came back out. That bathroom was almost never used. It was tucked behind the stairwell. The stalls were rusted, one urinal was out of order, and the mirror had permanent smudges that made your reflection ripple. Most people avoided it. I guess he liked the quiet. 5 minutes later, the fire alarm went off. It wasn't a drill. We were led outside to the lawn while teachers took attendance. That's when someone noticed the new kid was missing. A vice principal and a janitor went back in to check. They were gone for a while. When they returned, they didn't say anything. The principal told us everything was under control and sent us back to class. No explanation. Just like that. By the end of the day, rumors had spread. People said they found the farthest stall locked from the inside. No one responded. They had to remove the door with tools. But inside there was nothing. No backpack, no jacket, no kid. Just 5 words carved deep into the paint on the back wall. I didn't lock the door. By Monday, his name was gone from the attendance system. It was like he'd never enrolled. No teachers mentioned him. No locker was cleared. Nothing. A few weeks later, after gym class, I had to use that same bathroom. It was the closest. I didn't want to, but I didn't feel like walking across the building. I kept my eyes down, used the first stall quickly, and went to wash my hands. That's when I heard it, the sound of a latch sliding into place. I turned slowly. The far stall was closed. I hadn't noticed it shut when I walked in. I crouched down and looked under the door. No feet, no shadow. Just stillness. I waited. Nothing moved. Then the lock clicked again. This time it unlocked. The door didn't open. It just unlatched like it was waiting for me to pull it. I left immediately. Didn't dry my hands. Didn't look back. Since then, I've never gone near that bathroom again. But I noticed something last week. Every Friday during lunch, the janitor slides a doorstop under that same stall. He doesn't clean in there. Doesn't check anything else. He just leaves the wedge and walks away. But the weird part is, the door never stays open. Not for long.